Welcome back once again, and today we're going to continue our series on self-hosting. This part is called Self-Hosting on the Dark Side. So last time we learned about an increased functionality that hosting with IPv6 provides in a home lab. We learned that IPv6 does not have a need to use reverse proxy or NAT. We learned that IPv4 and IPv6 are two entirely separate network protocols. The Onion router, Tor, is another protocol that can be used to host Tor or Onion hidden services. So what exactly is Tor? Tor is the protocol that the dark web uses. So I have a diagram here which is a history of the dark web. And the dark web began back in the early 1960s. It was originally created by the Defense Department, the Advanced Research Projects Agency, and called ARPANET. The dark web is an evolution of ARPANET. So it was originally created for Defense Department requirements. And also commercial companies as well funded the original creation of Tor. Is the dark web illegal? Well, so the dark web has kind of a negative connotation to it. It's not illegal, but it has been used for illegal activity because it is incredibly private. Anything that's this private will inevitably use to carry traffic that's not on the up and up necessarily. So Tor or Onion routing is private because it randomly routes data through many different systems and does not track its path. Tor is far more private than using a public VPN service. Okay, so a public VPN service you connect to from your computer and then you connect to a server somewhere else in another city, another state, or another country. And by so doing, your traffic is encrypted between you and that server. But the minute the traffic pops out of that server, it's basically in the clear, even though it may be SSL encrypted. They know where it starts from and where it goes to. This is not true with Tor routing. So Tor can be used to access services from areas of the world where such services are blocked or censored. Why is Tor private? Well, Tor routing does not use any sort of domain name service. The domain name service on the internet, if you recall, is basically a lookup system to be able to look up the address for an existing system. So there's no directory of Tor services. You have to know the Tor address. So it's not like you can type in Amazon.com, and it's not like you can type in Microsoft.com. And get it translated to a number and therefore be able to get to the site. You just have to know what the Tor address is, the .onion address as they're called because they end in .onion. So Tor routes its traffic through many different intermediary systems and provides no audit trail whatsoever. Tor is very slow because of all these intermediate hops it has to take. You're not going point to point. You're going through multiple intermediary systems. Many legitimate services like Facebook offer a Tor address. So how do you access Tor? To access the dark web, all you need is a Tor or Onion browser. I like the Brave browser because it's available for all platforms. If you go into the Brave browser and you go into the Brave browser menu, they have an option that actually says New Private Window with Tor. So you can't access Tor nodes unless you're in a Tor private window, a Tor browser per se. If you're on a regular browser, it will not access .onion nodes even if you know what the address is. So as a test, go to the Facebook dark web page, and that's this huge thing here. I'll link it in the comments at the end of the video. So again, there's the Facebook dark web page. It's some really big long address with .onion on the end. And here's what it looks like. So The point is that if you're connecting to the Facebook dark web page and you want to be totally anonymous, you would want to create a new Facebook account. Because if you're using your regular Facebook account and you've used it before on the regular web, you've identified who you are. If instead you create a completely new Facebook account that you only use via Tor browsing, it will be unable to ascertain who you are unless you divulge your identity. So I suspect that a lot of foreign dignitaries actually will use this capability to communicate out of countries where they ordinarily might not be able to communicate from. Remember, this is originally a Department of Defense product for that reason. So how does Tor actually work? Well, Tor sites go out to the dark web and randomly choose 3 onion routing introduction points. The 3 introduction points then choose 3 relay points. The introduction points and the relay points form what are called chains back to the Tor server. The 3 introduction points and the onion chains to those points become the onion service descriptor. It also adds a public key and signs it with a private key to encrypt all the traffic over its route. SSL is not used since SSL would be tied back to a DNS name and that would divulge who we are or where we're going. The onion service descriptor is uploaded to a distributed hash table, which is a table of dark web websites distributed to the onion network routers. There are no search engines to find dark web websites because there's no index. You just have to know the .onion address to reach the site. I think I mentioned that before. So, how do we actually get to a dark website? Well, once you type in the .onion address to the Tor browser, it searches the hash table for the 3 introductory nodes. One introductory node is chosen at random and forms the onion circuit that will be used to contact the target server through multiple relay points. The Tor browser then makes a second connection randomly through multiple relay servers to a rendezvous point, which is essentially a request to connect to the dark web node. The client also implants a passphrase at the rendezvous node. Using the initial introduction point, the location of the rendezvous point, and the passphrase are sent. So you thought that was it. Well, the dark web website also has a similar onion circuit back to the introduction point. The rendezvous point and the passphrase are sent over the onion circuit to the dark web server, telling the web server where to contact. At that point, the web server makes its own onion circuit back to the client randomly through the dark web via the rendezvous site. If the passphrase is correct, the connection's made. So, after all that, you might ask the question, is it secure? Well, all this multi-layer complex routing makes both clients and web servers completely anonymous with no way to trace the route to the server and no routing table or name server lookup. And also the traffic is encrypted as we saw earlier. For this reason, the dark web is highly secure and encrypted, but it lacks speed and it lacks performance. I've also discovered that there is no need to open ports or define routing rules to dark web sites hosted on your network. The reason is that the circuit is initiated by your application, your dark web server, using the Onion protocol, and once it's initiated from your network end, it carries bidirectional traffic. So unlike a regular website where the remote user initiates the traffic is the link is initiated from inside your network and it's maintained. So how can I host a dark website? Well, very simple. It's built into Linux. To install the Tor service, all you need to do is a sudo apt install tor. Then you want to go into your favorite text editor, like Nano, for example, and edit the file called etc torrc, which is the Tor resource file. You want to uncomment the hidden service directory and the hidden service port lines in that file. Then you want to exit the editor. You want to stop the Tor service. You want to restart the Tor service. Then to see your onion address, you do a sudo cat of /var/lib/tor/hidden_service/hostname. So in my particular case, I created a PHP bulletin board, and its onion address on the dark web is this really long onion address, which I will also link in the comments. And you should be able to reach this address in your Brave browser via a private window with Tor. Remember, you have to be using a private window with Tor because you can't reach Tor websites without a Tor browser. So, there are 3 ways to self-host. We learned, first off, you could use IPv4 with Nginx Reverse Proxy. I think that was the first video. The second video covered how to use IPv6 and no proxy or NAT needed. And thirdly, you can use the dark web via the onion router. So I use all 3 of these on my network concurrently, and I have all IPv4, IPv6, and dark web, and they all can run on the same network. Tor is even more secure than a public VPN, as we talked about earlier. And Tor is unfortunately very slow, and it should be clear why it's slow, because you go through multiple nodes to get where you're going. There's a lot of links. It's not point-to-point at all. You must share your Tor address with others because there's no Tor directory of services. I mean, you can probably Google Tor sites and find a few onion addresses. When you look at those onion addresses, then those onion addresses might show you some locations of other things, but it's usually a real hunt to find Tor addresses. In this video, I provide you an address to my PHP bulletin board server that I serve on the dark web, and I'm also providing the Facebook link to Facebook's dark website. So remember, it's only bad if you make it bad. Basically, yes, there's a lot of illegal activity on the dark web, but there's also a lot of very legitimate activity on the dark web. The dark web exists because it is privacy-centric. Anyway, if you made it to this point of the video, thank you so much, and I'd like you to subscribe and like if you will, and we'll see you on there next time.